Bobby Bear, Freddie Fox, and the Big Five Safari Adventure by Dean Jacques. The bears and the foxes live in a small town in the mountains. Here they have a lot of fun because they are good friends. Bobby Bear and Freddie Fox are best friends, but they are also very competitive. They often team up against each other in sports games and in other great adventures. Their most exciting adventure was an African safari trip with their parents. They jumped for joy when their parents announced that they would be going on safari after working very hard and saving up money for a long, long time. With their new cameras, the challenge was on to see who could take the best photographs of the wild animals. When the day arrived for their trip, Bobby Bear and Freddie Fox could not stop giggling with excitement. When they got on the big bus to go to the airport, they sang,
"We're going on safari! We're going on safari!"
After boarding their plane for the long flight to Africa, they had yummy things to eat and watch movies. Later, they drifted off to sleep, and when they woke up, there was an announcement that breakfast would be served soon. More yummy food. The plane landed with a thud. At Lubenzela Airport, a bus was waiting for them to take them to the safari lodge. Mr. Manny Meerkat, their friendly driver, told them how much fun they were going to have in the bush.
"This time of the year is just the best time to see the Big Five," he said over the loudspeaker.
"What is the Big Five, Mommy?"
asked Bobby Bear. Before Mommy Bear could answer, Mr. Manny Meerkat was explaining that the Big Five were the elephant, the lion, the leopard, the rhino, and the African buffalo.
"Wowee," said Bobby Bear. "We are really going to see the Big Five. I can't wait."
At Lubenzela Lodge, the lodge manager, Miss Zelda Zebra, was waiting to welcome Bobby Bear and Freddie Fox and their families after their long journey.
"Welcome to Lubenzela Lodge, where the Big Five roam nearby."
She announced that after dinner every evening, she would announce the winner of the photo competition. Who would get the best photos, Bobby or Freddie? The first safari drive was booked for the morning, so after dinner, the little bears and foxes went to bed. They were so tired after the long trip. It took a while to get to sleep because they were super excited about seeing all the wild animals the next morning. Early the next morning after breakfast, Mr. Manny Meerkat met them at the front of the lodge. He was his usual friendly self, smiling and singing.
"It's the Big Five. Big Five. Big Five today."
The safari transporters were parked up front, and the bears and foxes all clambered onto two separate transporters with excitement. It was a sunny day, and they were off to see the Big Five. The bears were lucky to have Mr. Manny Meerkat as their guide. He knew the African bush well and explained about the wild animal and plant life while he was driving. Mr. Manny Meerkat slowed the transporter down and then stopped. Speaking quietly, he pointed and said,
"Look over there in the grasslands. There are some rhinos with a baby rhino too."
The bears were shaking with excitement. There were these strange-looking creatures with pointy horns at the end of their snouts. The little rhino was so cute, but they could not get up close because rhinos can be dangerous. After watching the rhinos for a while, the safari transporter moved on, and ahead of them they saw one of the other transporters driven by Mr. Hairy Hyena and a load of foxes parked up looking at a herd of elephant. There were some huge ones and some baby ones, a spectacular sight. On their way back to the lodge, they saw lots of antelope of different sizes, impala, gazelle, and springbuck. And then they stopped to have a closer look at a leopard just resting in a tree, watching the world go by. It was a beautiful animal, with fantastic golden fur spotted with dark spots. As they sat around the campfire that evening, the bears and foxes chattered away about the wildlife they were so lucky to have seen.
"Today we saw 3 of the Big Five. Maybe we'll see some lions and the African buffalo tomorrow."
"I do hope so,"
said Frida Fox, Freddie's sister.
"I can't wait to see a lion. I've never seen a real lion before."
No sooner had she said that when they all heard the loud roar of a male lion in the distance. On day 2, the bears and foxes played games and swam at the lodge, just relaxing and enjoying the African sun. Mid-afternoon, Mr. Manny Meerkat met the foxes for their late afternoon drive, when they were more likely to see some lions at a watering hole. The bears went on a safari transporter with Mr. Hairy Hyena, who also talked a lot but not nearly as much as Mr. Manny Meerkat. He was a scruffy-looking fellow and had a bit of a pongy smell about him. The pong was so bad that they wanted to avoid going out with him on the next safari drive. On the next game drives, everyone scrambled to avoid traveling with Harry Hyena. Some were unlucky enough to spend a pongy trip with him. Holding their breath, Bobby Bear and Freddie Fox giggled away as they whispered to each other.
Pooey, so stinky.
After a long drive to a watering hole, the bears and foxes held their breath. There, right in front of them, was a pride of lions who were watching for the antelope to come down. It was dinner time and they looked so hungry. A little way down another track in the African bush, they were all told to be quiet while approaching a herd of African buffalo. They looked on in awe as they saw these huge black beasts with curly horns on their heads, standing in the late afternoon sun. What a day! They had seen the Big Five in 2 days, an awesome experience. Their next day was spent relaxing at the lodge, and they saw some more wild animals on shorter game drives. On the big plane going home, Bobby Bear, Freddie Fox, and their families were very happy. They had seen the Big Five and had so many good photos and stories to tell everyone when they got back home. As they drifted off to sleep, the experiences of the past few days came back to them in their dreams, and they had big smiles across their faces. The end.